Hello there, and welcome to Whispers to Sleep. My name is David, and I'm truly honored to be your guide tonight. Here we believe sleep is not just a routine, it's a gentle journey, a quiet return to peace every night. I craft stories with care, so your mind can rest and your body can soften all you need to do. Take a slow deep breath in, and as you breathe out, allow the day to melt away. Close your eyes. Get cozy under the covers and let my voice lead you into calm, into comfort, into dreams. This is your time. Your memento. Truly relax. Let's begin. You are still. Wrapped in the silence of stone and sky, you rest beneath the weight of a mountain older than any map can name. Its breath is low, not breath as you know it, but the slow pressure of time folded into rock. Above you, layers of earth pressed down not to crush you, but to hold you like the heaviest, kindest blanket. Here, in the hush of the deep, there is no urgency. No footsteps, no wind, no fire. Only this, the invisible pull that holds everything in place. A force you cannot see, but feel in the soft settling of your chest. Gravity. It is not the thunder of Thor, nor the blaze of Odin's eye. It is the whisper beneath the mountain. The first law, older than gods, quieter than myths. The voice that keeps you tethered when your thoughts drift too far from your body. You breathe in. You breathe out. Each breath sinks you deeper into the stone. Not downward in distance, but inward, into stillness, into awareness. And as your body softens, you begin to sense something else in the dark. A presence. Not cold or cruel, but watchful, curious. Loki. Not the version the songs tell you about. Not the wild-eyed fire starter, leaping between trick and truth. This Loki is quiet. He watches with a smirk that suggests he knows how gravity works, not as a punishment, but as a promise. He does not speak, but something inside you hears him. Why do you think the mountain doesn't fall? You consider this. Mountains rise, you think, but even they are bound by the earth. They rest where pressure builds. Stone pressing against stone until it must reach upward, even if the heavens don't. Ask it to, but once it's there, once it's formed, it stays. It holds. It remembers every fold and fault. Like you, your body too is built from pressure, from the stars that collapsed into elements, into minerals, into cells. Calcium for your bones, iron for your blood. You are the aftershock of something vast that once fell inward. Gravity made you, not just your shape, but your story. It called the dust together, shaped suns, pulled the sea to the moon, and kept your feet from leaving the earth when your heart did. You feel it now, that gentle tug, the way your limbs settle without command. The way your head rests heavier with each breath. The world asking you to stay close. Loki leans back against the stone, his fingers tracing invisible patterns into the dust. Is he drawing runes? Equations? It's hard to tell where myth ends and the laws of nature begin. Even chaos has its center. He seems to say without words, and suddenly you understand. He isn't the opposite of order. He's what makes it necessary. He bends things time. Truth, stories, not to break them, but to show you their edges. And gravity, you now see, is the boundary you didn't know you needed. Without gravity, everything flies apart. Stars can't form. Rivers don't run. Thoughts scatter before they become memory. It is gravity that brings things together. You. This mountain. The silenced Loki stands and begins to walk deeper into the mountain, though no path is carved. Only a narrow line of shadow where the rock seems softer. He doesn't look back, but you follow, not with your body, but with your awareness. You drift with him, past layers of stone compressed for 1 billion years, past fossilized roots and buried memories, Past the echo of tectonic shivers you cannot hear, but can almost feel like a distant hum in your bones. You imagine time here not as a river, but as pressure, as depth. Every inch downward is an age. Every grain of sediment, a forgotten breath. Press your hand to the wall. It is warm. The mountain holds heat like it holds history, slowly, patiently. This warmth has traveled from the core of the earth, taking centuries to arrive at your palm. And now you wonder, what else has been traveling toward you? Stories? Forces? The weight of things you haven't yet remembered? Loki pauses beside a narrow vein of glowing crystal. It pulses faintly, not with magic, but with stored light. Luminescence born of pressure, held by time. He taps the stone once, and the glow spreads outward, like ripples in a still pond. Not fast, not loud, just expanding dot like gravity. Like thought dot, and in that light, you realize there's a universe here. Inside this mountain. Inside you dot held together not by fire, but by the quiet agreement of particles. Bound by gravity's invisible thread, saying simply, stay. You breathe in again. Not out of habit, but in reverence. This is not a chapter about falling. It's about resting in what holds you. Sinking into the truth that what is, unseen, is still strong. You close your eyes, and the mountain doesn't move, but something inside you does. You drift upward. The mountain fades beneath you, not with speed, but with softness, as if you're rising through memory rather than stone. A hush surrounds you, but it hums with something waiting to be known. Above you now, above thought, and wait, a shimmer stirs in the dark. The Bifrost, not a place, but a passage. Not a road, but a rhythm. A bridge of color that arcs between realms and tonight, between the quiet parts of your mind. It glows, not with fire, but with something gentler. Pulses of light, like thoughts just before they speak. You place one foot on the first ripple of light, and it holds. It doesn't shake or flash. It welcomes. You walk slowly, not to escape the ground, but to meet the sky within. Each step brings a new hue, soft red, then orange, then yellow so pale it almost becomes breath. Colors that aren't loud, but remembering. The way your mind sometimes glows when you think of something long forgotten. A scent, a name, the color of a childhood morning dot. This is not just Bifrost the bridge. This is your neural bridge, your body's quiet lightning. The way your brain speaks to itself in pulses, in sparks. Not language, not logic, but flickers. Bifrost, like your neurons, connects what seems far, the conscious and the sleeping, the known and the guessed. It is how one part of you says hello to another. You pause in the middle of the bridge. Below, Asgard twinkles faintly, not the city of gods, but a field of ideas, waiting. Above, the stars stretch out like branching dendrites, each one, reaching for the next, each one asking, are you awake with me? You feel the answer before you form it. Yes, you are awake, not with the sharpness of daylight, but with the glow of insight. That calm knowing that arises when you stop asking and begin listening. Your brain is not a machine. It is a galaxy, electrically alive, endlessly reorganizing. And the bridge you walk now, it forms again and again, every time you wonder, every time you imagine, every time you pause before a decision and feel something light up inside. A whisper of clarity before words arrive. That is Bifrost. That is thought, mid-journey. You take another step, and the bridge shimmers beneath you. It doesn't tremble. It responds. Your presence wakes it. Just as neurons respond, not only to information, but to meaning. You think of someone you love. The image doesn't form fully, but the warmth does. Instantly, the color beneath your feet shifts, golden, then blush pink, and a silver so soft it feels like forgiveness. Your brain lights up like that too. Not just in one place, but in many. A network of connection, of recollection, of feeling, are not a single thought. You are thousands of them, braided together like threads of this bridge. And you are always becoming, always updating. Even now, as you listen, something inside you changes shape to make room for this moment. Loki appears ahead on the bridge, his back turned, hands behind him, walking without touching the ground. He is not rushing. He never rushes when the stakes are highest. Instead, he glides, as if uncertainty is his element. You follow, not because you must, but because something inside you wants to know how this ends. He stops and turns, not dramatically, but gently, with a glance that says, "What you see isn't always what you understand, but what you feel." That's real. You nod without speaking. The bridge beneath you is no longer rainbow. It's a neural map now. Glowing synapses, some bright, some dim, branching into curves of violet and ice blue. This is your brain's light show. It's quiet aurora. This is how you dream, how you recall, how you learn to let go. And Bifrost is not far away anymore. It's within you, each spark between neurons, a step, each memory a light, each sleep a crossing. Loki steps aside and motions toward a hovering orb of glowing white threads. A memory not quite formed. You approach, and it gently opens. You don't see an image. You feel something, a moment when you felt safe. That one time when someone placed a hand on your shoulder without saying a word. That was a synapse now. Awakened. A connection REFORGED dot, and then it fades. Not gone. Just resting again, folded back into your mind. You walk further. The bridge narrows now, not out of danger, but of focus. Not every thought needs to be held. Not every memory needs to. Rise. You begin to trust that what is meaningful will return when needed. Your mind is built that way, to preserve what matters, not perfectly, but wisely. The end of Bifrost comes into view. A soft arch of blue dissolving into mist. The stars are quieter here. Or maybe you are .LOK, eye watches without expression. You understand this journey is yours, that you take the final step. And for a brief moment, you are weightless. No past, no future, just light. Then softly, your feet touch down on the far side. A forest glows faintly ahead, and in the sky, wings begin to stir. A breeze lifts around you, not a gust, not forceful, just a gentle shift of space rearranging itself. The stillness you carried from Bifrost begins to move, not forward, not back, but outward. You look up, and there she is, the Valkyrie. But she does not descend with thunder. She does not call you by name. Instead, she rises, carried not by muscle, but by memory, by momentum, by the invisible winds of change. Her wings unfurl slowly, not feathers, but forces. Light dances along the curves, pale blue, soft white, edges glowing with the heat of something just born. She does not flap, she glides, as if her flight is not movement through space, but through time itself. You feel it now. The air around you isn't still. It shifts even here, in silence. Not from sound, but from entropy, the slow diffusion of heat, of energy, of certainty. Entropy, the tendency for things to drift from order to disorder, not as chaos, but as unfolding. The way a cup of warm tea cools, the way your memories soften at the edges. The Valkyrie moves on this wind, the wind of change that never stops blowing, even when you are still. She turns her face toward you, not with command, but with invitation. And you follow, rising not with wings, but with awareness. Together, you drift above a vast, glowing landscape. It's not Asgard. It's not Midgard. It's something quieter. A field of time laid out like mist, ever expanding. Below, you see threads unraveling, rivers of memory, echoes of choices. Moments no longer in motion, but still echoing forward. This is entropy made visible, not destruction, but diffusion. The universe is cooling, slowly, inevitably. But it isn't dying. It's becoming spacious. Every star, every cell, every heartbeat you've ever had, all gently losing energy, not with violence, with grace. The Valkyrie shows you this without words. Her wings stretch wider, not to conquer the sky, but to trace it. She glides on the thermals created by time's arrow. You drift beside her, and your body no longer feels solid. It feels fluid, like a wave that forgot it was once a stone. You are not falling. You are floating in understanding. Entropy is not an enemy. It is how time leaves fingerprints. It is why smoke doesn't return to the candle. Why snow melts and doesn't rise again as flakes. It is also why you grow. Why your thoughts change. Why you forget, not as failure, but as adaptation. She looks at you again. You feel the question in her gaze. Can you ride this? Can you let go of control and let time carry you? You nod. And with that, her wings shift. She banks left, not sharply, but like a leaf catching a new current. You follow through a tunnel of stars that curve gently outward. Each star you pass is a second. Each cluster, a day. Each galaxy, a decade expanding away from its center. And then you understand? The universe itself is riding entropy. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion. It was a release of energy, of possibility. And it is still happening. You are still happening. Every moment you've lived has been an expansion. From infant breath to tonight's stillness. From thought to thought, each riding the wind of the one before. You are not meant to be still. Even in sleep, you shift. Your cells rearrange. Your brain reprocesses. You dream because entropy makes room. The Valkyrie lowers her wings slightly, and you begin to descend. Not falling, returning. Below you, the thermals of thought swirl. Soft spirals of color, pulsing faintly. Ideas fading. Memories forming. Heat drifting from what once burned brightly. And there is beauty in that fading. In letting go. In allowing energy to find a softer place to rest. You feel your body again. The weight of your limbs. The warmth of your breath. Still floating, but closer now. The Valkyrie lands ahead of you, touching the ground so lightly that nothing bends. She looks back once, then disappears, like mist folding into mist. You are not afraid. You are held in a greater current, not of war, but of wonder, of change, always becoming more spacious, more free. You close your eyes, and something inside you exhales. The world softens, the wind settles, and just ahead, where the Valkyrie's path fades, you see a shimmer. Not bright, not loud, just a ripple in space, like the air remembering something it hasn't told you yet. You step forward. The shimmer grows. It becomes a surface. A mirror, smooth, rippling at the edges, as if it breathes. You look into it, and the reflection looks back, but not quite as you expect. Your face is there, but beside it, another face, familiar, but slightly turned, as if another version of you also paused here, also wondering, also watching. A quiet laugh echoes behind you. Loki. He's standing just beyond the mirror, or maybe inside it. It's hard to tell. He wears a smirk that's almost kind, and eyes that flicker, green, then gold, then something you can't quite name. You're not seeing things, he says, though his lips don't move. You aren't sure if he means the mirror or everything. Then with a gesture, He steps aside, and the mirror splits into many dozens, hundreds, all reflecting different angles of you, blinking, breathing, thinking. You stand in the center of a quantum hall of mirrors. Each reflection feels real, each one slightly altered. And suddenly, you understand. This is not illusion. This is possibility. This is quantum. Particles at the smallest scale of existence do not behave the way you expect. They don't move like arrows. They flicker. They appear, disappear, and appear again in two places at once. They do not choose a path until you look, and even then, they sometimes smile and refuse to obey. L. Okay, I knows this well. He walks beside a reflection that doesn't match his stride. He reaches out to touch your shoulder, but the hand lands a second before you. Feel it. Time stutters. Position slips, and you realize quantum physics is the science of uncertainty, of layers, of simultaneous truths, not because the universe is broken, because it is deeper than logic, more playful than precision. In this world, electrons orbit not like planets, but like clouds. Their position is not a dot, but a probability, a maybe, a perhaps. You look back into the mirror and watch your eyes flicker, not in fear, but in wonder. Could it be that you too are more than one version? You take a step, and the reflections ripple. Not just copying you, responding. Some walk forward. Some pause. One turns away entirely. The mirror doesn't lie. It tells every truth at once. Loki nods, pleased. This is how everything begins, his voice whispers. Uncertain, unseen. You reach out and touch the mirror. Your finger passes through. And now you're inside the possibility. You are in the realm of quantum mischief, where light is both wave and particle, where observation changes behavior, where you never quite know, but somehow still believe. Body softens, as if loosening its grip on only one version of reality. Maybe you're more than one path. Maybe every breath is a decision not yet made. The air shifts again. You find yourself standing before a double slit, two narrow openings in space, like doorways. A soft glow pulses behind them. Particles begin to stream through. Some go left, some go right. But as they land, they paint not two lines, but many. Waves, interference. As if each particle interferes with itself. As if it takes both paths. As if, until it is seen, it is not one thing. It is all. You blink slowly. Is that not also how you feel some days? Like you are many moods, many directions, all at once. This is not chaos. This is potential. The quantum world is not illogical. It is layered, like dreams, like music, like meaning. And Loki. Loki is not merely the trickster. He is the reminder that reality bends, that certainty is a comfort, but not a requirement. That knowing everything isn't the same as feeling wonder. He walks ahead now, beyond the mirrors, into a corridor of stars. You follow, the path blinking beneath your feet. Each step uncertain, each step real, only once it's taken. And yet, you are not lost. You are precisely where you are, and nowhere else. Until you look, you pass through a field of quantum entanglement. Two lights pulsing on opposite sides of the space, perfectly linked. One moves, and the other responds instantly. Distance, here, does not matter. Information leaps as if reality itself is folded. A sheet, not a line. You think of someone far away. A heartbeat you haven't felt in a while. And somehow, you know they feel this moment too. Entanglement isn't just science. It's metaphor. We are not as separate as we think. Loki vanishes, not with a flash, but with a blink. You turn. The mirrors fade, and the air grows still again. But something remains. A shimmer in your thoughts. A memory of something that Both is and is not dot possibility dot you sit down, and the ground beneath you hums, not with noise, but with maybe. You are held in uncertainty dot, and for the first time, you rest there. You don't need to choose. You don't need to know. You just need to stay a little longer. You lie still, but something within you stirs, not movement, but growth, a quiet expansion, not upward, not outward, but inward through the soil of your mind. And then, like a whisper carried by the roots of ancient things, you feel it YGGRA's isle not. Just a tree that touches the sky, not only the spine of the Norse cosmos, but a structure, vast, branching, alive. And somehow, familiar its trunk rises slowly from the ground before you, made not of bark, but of luminous fibers. They pulse faintly, not with sap, but with signals. Information. Memory it is beautiful. And you recognize it, even if you've never seen it, because in a way, you have. You've carried it all along. Yggdrasil lives inside you. Your brain, vast, branching, electric, mirrors the tree. Its roots are your memories, buried and intertwined. Its trunk is your attention, steady and reaching. Its branches are your thoughts, expanding in every direction. You touch the tree's bark, and it feels warm, soft like skin, alive like thought. Leaf falls. It twirls slowly, almost dancing. You catch it in your palm. It hums faintly, and a vision flickers in your mind. A childhood memory, once forgotten, now blooming again. Each leaf is a memory. Each moment you've ever lived, imprinted softly into this tree. Some bright, some faded, some curled at the edges, waiting to be remembered. And as you gaze upward through the branches, you realize this is your neural tree. Your neurons, the tiny cells that make up your brain, connect like branches. Each branch touches another. Each connection holds experience. And like Yggdrasil, they never stop growing. Your thoughts travel along these pathways, not like trains on tracks, but like wind through leaves, light, fleeting. Alive you close your eyes, and the tree begins to glow from within. Colors ripple through the branches, lavender, gold, sea green. Each wave is a signal, a message passed from one part of you to another This is how your brain speaks. Not in words, but in rhythms. Not in sound, but in spark. And these sparks carry everything. The sound of someone's voice, the shape of an idea, the ache of longing, the warmth of laughter. You are the forest. But you are also the one listening for the wind in the trees, in the distance. Birds flutter through the canopy, their wings made of thought, their songs woven from fragments of memory. They remind you, nothing is ever truly gone. It changes. It folds. It becomes part of something new. A root winds gently around your foot, not to bind you, to ground you, to remind you that every idea, no matter how high it soars, begins somewhere deep. Your deepest memories, the ones without words, live here. The feeling of safety. The first time you felt awe. The moment you learned silence could be beautiful. Yggdrasil holds them. Your brain does too. Even when you forget, it remembers for you. And just like trees speak through roots, your neurons speak in networks, not isolated, but connected. Not linear, but alive. You are never thinking just one thing. You are thinking many. And your mind moves like the breeze, sometimes gentle, sometimes wild, but always reaching. You sit beneath the tree and listen. Not with ears, with attention. With presence you begin to feel how everything connects. The smell of rain, the sound of your name, the echo of a dream. All of it is rooted in you. All of it stretches upward into what you will become. The tree rustles. Gently. It is not speaking, but it is answering. And you begin to understand. Your consciousness is not a single voice. It is a chorus, a layered song. And the brain, your tree, is its instrument. You think of Loki, of quantum mirrors, of the Valkyrie's wings. And you realize each chapter, each mystery, each metaphor. They all live in this tree dot, and the tree lives in you. A breeze moves through the branches, not from the sky, but from deep within the roots. It carries a scent, faint, electric, something familiar, but forgotten. You rise, not with effort, but with ease. You walk beneath the branches, and with each step, you remember something you didn't know you'd lost. A moment of quiet, a flash of color, a sense of belonging. This is what your brain does while you sleep. It grows, it repairs, it replays. It weaves new connections from the day's thoughts. It sorts what to keep and what to let drift away. You pass a low-hanging branch and brush it gently. It lights up with 1,000 tiny signals, like fireflies, blinking in rhythm. Your mind is not fixed. It is fluid. It changes with each breath. It learns even now, especially now. You lie back down, and the roots rise to cradle you, not with minds, but with memory, with the gentle grip of familiarity, with the knowledge that you are known by something ancient and kind. Yggdrasil fades from view, not gone, just folded back into your own mind. Its branches are now thoughts again, its leaves dreams, and somewhere a thread begins to glow, subtle, steady, unseen by most. The sky above you opens, not suddenly, not with sound, but like breath, expanding, patient, without end. You lie beneath it, your chest rising with each inhale, and for the first time tonight, you realize how vast the silence truly is. It stretches beyond your hearing, beyond your knowing. And yet it holds you. The stars blink softly overhead, not randomly, not carelessly, each one a lighthouse, a pin in the fabric of something older than story. They say fate is woven, thread by thread, moment by moment. But what if the thread is light? And the loom, the sky itself? The Norns are there, somewhere, the three sisters of time. Urd, who remembers. Verdandi, who is becoming. Skuld, who waits in what has not yet happened. You cannot see them, but you feel them, faintly, working in the stillness beyond the stars, not dictating your path, but braiding it. Not like rulers, like caretakers. Their thread is not string. It is gravity. Gravity, that slow, silent pull, the gentlest force. And yet, the one that shapes galaxies. It draws planets into orbit, stars into spiral arms, moons into tidal rhythms. It draws you, too, to people, to thoughts, to moments you are always meant to meet. You place a hand on your chest, and there it is, the pull. Not downward, inward, like a string tied not to the ground, but to your center. You are not falling. You are circling, orbiting something deep inside yourself. The stars do not move quickly. They do not shout their purpose. They exist with patience, radiating quietly through time. And perhaps that is what fate feels like. Not a command, but a constant presence. An invisible structure you only notice when you stop struggling. You breathe out. The air carries a shimmer, soft as stardust. Not light, but the memory of it. Your body knows starlight. You are made of it. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, born in supernova. You carry the memory of collapse and fusion, of things drawn together by gravity until they ignited. You are not separate from the stars. You are one of their quieter echoes, and still they do not speak. They do not interfere. They shine. Fate is like this. It does not interrupt. It invites. You imagine the Norns again, seated at the edge of a cosmic well, their fingers tracing lines in the water, not writing your story, but reflecting it. They do not choose for you. They listen, and gravity listens too. It adjusts as you move. It lets you go, if you must, but it waits, gently, for your return. You think of choices you've made, not as right or wrong, but as orbits, long or short, stable or spiraling, and every choice, like every planet, has its own pull, its own path, its own silence. Some stars you see tonight may already be gone, their light just now arriving after lifetimes of travel. And some fates, too, are like that, unfolding long after the moment that sparked them. You are watching echoes. You are walking in reflections. The silence of stars is not empty. It is filled with information, distance, heat, history, all encoded in a single flicker. Your fate is like that too, encoded in presence, in rhythm, in breath. You are not trapped. You are tethered, and there is freedom in that to orbit is not to be lost. It is to belong, to be in motion around something meaningful. You close your eyes and imagine the earth turning slowly, the moon pulling tides, the sun holding everything with a force so steady you forget to feel it. Fate is not a line. It is a field, and you move within it like a bird rides the wind. The Norns do not stop weaving, but you notice now they are, smiling, because even they do not know what you will become. They see possibility, and possibility is sacred. A star twinkles brighter above you. You focus on it, not to own it, but to honor it. It has burned for longer than your language has existed. And yet, in this moment, it is only for you. Your thoughts slow, your breath deepens. And within the silence, you hear something softer. Still, the rhythm of your body syncing with the pulse of stars. You are aligned, not with a destiny written in stone, but with a story still unfolding. And though the stars do not speak, you feel their gravity. It says, stay a while longer. Turn gently. Let go of urgency. There is no rush in the stars, and no rush in you. You are exactly where you are meant to be, held by the quiet pull of something too vast to name, but kind enough to hold you without words. You hear it before you see it. Not a crack, not a roar, just a low, distant pulse, a rumble traveling across the sky like a memory rolling across time. A reminder. You open your eyes slowly. Above you, clouds gather, soft at the edges, silver. With charge, they do not threaten. They build, and somewhere inside them, Thor is near. Not with fury, not with war, but with energy, waiting. He does not descend with violence. He watches first, listens to the silence beneath the noise, the tension before release. You sit quietly beneath the sky, and you feel it too, the build-up. In the clouds, yes, but also in you, a tingle beneath your skin, a sense of readiness, your own inner storm, quiet but alive, because you, like the clouds, carry charge. Electricity is not just outside you. It is within you, in every cell, in every beat. You are a walking storm, a slow-motion lightning bolt. And Thor, he does not live only in the thunderclap. He lives in the heart's rhythm, the neuron spark, the impulse that sends your hand to your chest when you feel something deeply. You breathe in. The air tastes metallic, charged. The sky flickers faintly, then waits again. This is the nature of electricity. It builds, it stores. Then, when the time is right, it moves. In storms, it leaps across sky and earth. In you, it flows through nerves and thoughts. A constant conversation of motion and balance. Your brain sends messages through bursts of voltage, tiny electric shifts. spikes that travel like messengers, from cell to cell, from intention to action. You lift your hand now. And though it seems simple, what occurs inside you is vast. A wave of charge, a cascade of connections, a storm made small enough to wave. Thor does not shout, he hums, he pulses. He waits until the world is ready to receive his lightning. You are ready? You close your eyes again. Inside your chest, your heart continues, beating, firing, not just with blood, but with rhythm. Each beat begins with electricity. A cluster of specialized cells deep in your heart creates a signal. It spreads. It tells the muscles when to contract, when to release. Your heartbeat is not just a drum. It's a circuit. A thunderclap made steady. Thor's hammer doesn't strike to destroy. It strikes to awaken, to reset, to stir what has gone. Still, and sometimes your body needs that. A sudden breath, a jolt of understanding, a reminder that energy still flows. You lie back and feel it, the quiet current beneath your skin. It moves like a stream, like the gentle charge that fills the air before a storm breaks. But this storm is not danger. It is presence. It is the reminder that you are not inert. You are alive, charged, responsive. Electricity connects everything, from thunderclouds to thought. It allows the sky to speak, and you to feel. The first lightning bolt splits the sky above, not to frighten, to announce. It arcs in silence, light before sound. You watch it and wonder, how can something so fast feel so ancient? Because lightning is one of the oldest languages. Before words, before wheels, the sky and earth have been talking in sparks, and now you speak it too. You are electricity slowed down into memory, into movement, into meaning. The second bolt dances behind the clouds. It doesn't touch the earth. It touches your spine, not literally, but something inside you wakes. You remember every thought you've ever had, every memory, every dream was carried on charge. Neurons don't just fire randomly. They fire with purpose, with emotion, with recognition. A song, a face, a scent in the air, all of it sparked by electric flow. You are not just a body. You are a circuit of story. Thor's thunder rolls in slowly now, not crashing, but speaking, a low voice that hums in your bones. Not outside you anymore. Inside, you imagine him, standing not in the sky, but within your chest, watching over the steady beat, protecting the current. Not just God of storms, God of rhythm, of voltage, of life. And in the soft rumble, you hear a truth. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only changed. That means your thoughts, your memories, your hopes. They do not vanish. They shift. They move. They continue. The storm above you softens. The clouds drift. The charge disperses. But the power remains, not crackling, just present, resting. You do the same. Thor fades into the mist, his work done. Not with chaos, with clarity. He does not take the storm with him. He leaves it in you. Not to battle, but to pulse, to guide. You feel it now, the flicker behind your eyes, the quiet surge beneath your skin, the heartbeat, the light. You are electricity. You are thunder, waiting. You don't notice the moment the thunder fades. Not all at once, just slowly, like a sound stepping softly out of the room, like a thought leaving without closing the door. In the quiet, something else arrives, not with footsteps, with presence. She does not shine like the stars. She does not roar like the storm. She stands in stillness, in understanding. You feel her before you see her, the way you sometimes sense someone watching gently, not to intrude, but to witness. To know dot, she is not goddess of battle or of fate. She is goddess of knowing, of seeing what others miss. And tonight, she is not here to tell you the future. She is here to help you feel the present, a part of it your mind can't explain, but your body already understands. You feel a flutter in your chest, a thought you didn't think, a truth without logic, a quiet yes with no question before it. That is intuition, not mystery, but pattern, not prediction, but recognition. Frigg doesn't speak. She lifts one hand and points toward the trees. You follow. Beneath the canopy, the air feels lighter, not because of sunlight, because of what's beneath it. A pattern. Leaves spiral in shapes that aren't random. They follow the Fibonacci sequence, that elegant curve that appears in nature, in shells, in galaxies, in your DNA. Your brain recognizes this, not with words, but with a hum dot. It knows what fits, even when you don't think about it. Your senses. Sort information, search for balance, detect danger, spot beauty. And this is what we call intuition. It's not a guess. It's a response to light, to motion, to memory you didn't even know you stored. Frigg walks beside you now, silent and calm, and you feel your thoughts slow, not because you're less alert, but because you're more aware. Your eyes rest on a branch where a bird perches quietly, before it moves, not because you see it shift, because something in your brain recognizes the cues, the twitch, the pause, the breath before flight. Intuition. It isn't magic. It's mastery. Your body is a library. It keeps more than your mind can hold. Experiences become patterns. Patterns become feelings. Feelings become messages. And those messages? They come in the form of nudges, whispers, the pause before a word, the chill before a choice. Frigg shows you a pool of water, still, clear. She drops a single leaf onto its surface. Ripples spread. This is what happens in your brain. One moment, a scent, a face, a tone, touches your awareness. And before your logic can speak, your intuition moves, rippling out, changing everything. It touches. Scientists call it the default mode network, a part of your brain that stays active when you're not focused, weaving memories, watching patterns, creating meaning. It is quiet, but never off. And it is here, in this quiet, that intuition grows. Frigg kneels beside the pool and brushes the surface with her hand. The image blurs, then clears. She looks at you with eyes that hold centuries of softness. She sees, not what will happen, but what already is. You felt it, too. A warning you couldn't name. The moment you knew someone was lying, even before their words finished. The time you didn't take the usual road, and later found out why you shouldn't have. Intuition is not proof. It is process. It does not shout. It nudges, and you've learned to listen. Not always, but more than you know. You continue walking, and Frigg leads you into a space where nothing moves. Stillness becomes a mirror. You stand there, heart steady, and feel the difference between noise and signal. Your intuition is the signal, the heartbeat that speeds up for no reason, the tension in your shoulders before a storm, the thought that repeats, though no one else speaks it aloud. You place a hand over your chest, not searching, just listening, and you realize your intuition is not only in your brain. It lives in your body. Your gut, your skin, your breath, all tuned to frequencies logic can't always reach. Your vagus nerve, for example, connects brain to body. It senses your environment. It adjusts your calm. It's why a hug can soothe before words arrive. Frigg smiles again. You are not alone in your knowing. Every creature has its form of it. The deer sensing danger. The child pulling away from a stranger. A moment you look at the sky and feel something. Shift. Before the rain even begins, this is your deep brain at work. A part that evolved before language. The part that still guides you. Frigg walks ahead now, her cloak catching faint light. She does not teach by telling. She teaches by presence. You walk slower. Not out of fatigue, but out of trust. Each step felt. Not calculated. You reach a circle of stones. Each stone glows faintly with patterns. Not runes, but brain scans. Curves, waves, pulses. The data of emotion. The trace of gut reaction. The rhythm of knowing. Frigg places a hand on one stone. It shows a heartbeat. It speeds. Up, then slows. This is intuition as data. As science. Your body responding faster than your awareness. Your subconscious making decisions. Long before your thoughts catch up. You rest your fingers on the same stone. And you feel it. The echo of someone once trusting their knowing. And being right. It feels like warmth. You sit. No questions. Just sensing. Your body is not only a shell, it is a sensor. A seer. And Frigg is not just the goddess of foresight. She is the goddess of felt truth. Of signals that arrive before sound. Of decisions that emerge from stillness. You close your eyes. And in the quiet, you feel it. That subtle yes. That invisible thread. That something. Pulling gently at your awareness. Not demanding. Just inviting. And your body answers, I know. Even if you don't yet know how you know. You lie back in the grass. Frigg fades into shadow. Not gone, just quiet again. But her message lingers. Not in words. In breath. Asterisk. You do not remember when you closed your eyes. But now, the world is softer. Edges blur. Sounds drift. And somewhere, far beneath your breath, something deeper awakens. You are not falling asleep. You are arriving. A place waits for you, not outside, but within. A chamber where time slows. Where thought loosens its grip. Where the mind begins to dream. Even before you do, Odin waits there, not as a warrior, not as a king, but as a keeper of quiet truths. You imagine him seated beneath a great tree, one eye closed, not out of weakness, but choice. Because to see all, sometimes you must let go of half. He gave his eye to drink from the well of wisdom. But tonight, you give yours to sleep. And in doing so, you gain vision, not the kind that looks outward, but the kind that looks within, where memory is not a line, but a constellation. Your body rests, but your brain begins to move. Softly, silently, it sorts, it files, it rewrites what you learned today, what you felt but couldn't name, what you glimpsed but forgot. All of it, still here. Floating in the quiet space beneath your waking thoughts. This is what sleep does. It is not stillness. It is orchestration. It cleans the mind. Washes away what is no longer needed. Strengthens what must remain. You are not forgetting. You are refining. Your brain is not turning off. It is tuning in. Each cycle of sleep moves through stages. Light sleep, deep sleep. And the place where dreams begin. In deep sleep, waves of electrical activity roll across your brain like tides. Slow, powerful, healing. Cells repair. Connections rewire. And your body takes inventory. What have we learned? What can we let go? And in REM sleep, the vivid place of dream, the brain rehearses, not fantasies, but possibilities. It asks, what if? And in doing so, it prepares. You for tomorrow. Odin watches you drift deeper. He knows that sleep is not escape. It is return. To the self beneath the stories. To the mind that thinks without noise. You see him now, clearly, in the space behind your eyes, not stern, not distant, but thoughtful. A teacher who says little, but notices everything around him. Symbols float, not written, but felt. Images from your own life. Moments you didn't realize mattered. Now glowing. This is what dreams do. They do not lie. They translate. They speak in metaphor, because that's how the brain speaks when it is free. Your dreams are not nonsense. They are coded reflections. Stories written in symbols so your soul can read them. A bird flying through a window. An old hallway you haven't walked in years. Someone you loved, smiling again. These are not memories. They are memories rearranged. Way stars gather to form new constellations. Familiar, but transformed. Odin nods, as if approving of what your brain is doing now. He knows that real wisdom is quiet. It doesn't interrupt. It integrates. In this place of sleep, your mind connects the unconnected. It solves problems you didn't know you were trying to solve. It heals emotions you haven't yet named. You dream of water, still, deep. You reach into it, and instead of reflection, you see a memory. One from years ago. A quiet one. A small kindness someone gave you, long forgotten. But tonight, your brain decided to keep it, to polish it, to let it rise. Sleep is not forgetting. It is curating. And Odin is the librarian, watching the shelves expand. You shift in your bed, not to wake, but to let another wave pass. Your heartbeat slows, your muscles soften, your breath deepens. You are safe. The brain, even now, scans your body. Are you warm enough? Are you breathing steadily? Is everything ready for another cycle? And when it is, it begins again. Deeper sleep, slower waves. Another chance to repair, to file, to dream. Odin stands now. He walks across the dream field, not on ground, but on rhythm. You feel it, the pulse of sleep beneath you, the echo of the body healing itself. Hormones balance, tissues mend, immunity strengthens. And the brain, it rewrites your narrative, not in big chapters, but in gentle edits. This is why you wake sometimes with clarity. Why, after rest, an answer arrives. Not because it formed in sleep, but because sleep gave it space to grow. You imagine Odin turning back now. One eye still, closed, the other, watching what most cannot see. Insight. You do not need to stay awake to be wise. You do not need to understand everything. Your brain is doing the work. It is filing the joy, softening the sorrow, preparing you to rise again. And you are floating. Between dream and memory, between what was and what could be. You no longer chase rest. You are at. And Odin, he fades, as guardians do. Not in absence, but in trust, because the work is done. The dream continues. And within it, you find stillness. Asterisk. The darkness is soft now, not thick, not heavy, just the kind that comes before light, when the world is still deciding whether to wake or dream a little longer. You lie in that in-between, not asleep, not awake, just becoming. And from the farthest edge of the horizon, something returns, not a roar, not a flash, a shimmer. The air changes first. It lifts slightly, like breath held, then released. Then you see her, a Valkyrie, not descending in fury, not rising in glory, just arriving exactly as she always was. She stands at the edge of morning, wrapped in the glow of everything you've traveled through. The mountain, the bridge, the mirrors, the tree, the stars, the thunder, the dream she carries none of. She reflects all of it. You sit up slowly, not rushed. Your body remembers rest. Your mind holds the rhythm of sleep like a soft pulse, still echoing beneath your thoughts. And the Valkyrie watches, not to command, but to witness. She nods once, as if to say, yes, you made it through. You stand. There is no ceremony, no final task, only the quiet recognition that something inside you has shifted, because you are not who you were when the story began. You are still you, but with more room for silence, room for softness, room for questions that don't need answers. The Valkyrie steps beside you. Her wings, no longer spread, now fold gently against the light. She is not here to carry you to another realm. She is here to guide you back to this one. You walk together toward the morning, but your feet don't move the way they used to. They remember gravity. They remember electricity. They remember the pathways beneath thought. You are not just returning. You are integrating. The sky warms. Pale pink slips into the edges of the blue, and the Valkyrie lifts her face toward the glow. You do too, and you feel it. Not just sunlight, starlight reflected, energy remembered. A photon that began its journey 1,000,000 years ago now lands softly on your skin. This is not just morning. This is a reunion. You feel it in the curve of your fingers, in the arch of your breath. Every cell waking slowly, respectfully. The story has not ended. It has rooted itself in you. You remember Loki, smiling beside the mirror. You remember Yggdrasil, its branches alive in your thoughts. You remember Odin, choosing sleep not for escape, but for wisdom. And the Valkyrie was there through it all. Not leading, just appearing at the edges. You realize now, she is not a character. She is a current, the part of you that rides the in-between, the awareness that floats between worlds and returns with meaning. You walk beside her still, but she grows lighter, not fading, becoming more like light than form. The closer you come to daybreak, the more you remember she was never outside you. She is the voice that rises when the rest of you falls quiet, the instinct that speaks when thought is silent, the breath you didn't notice that saved your peace. And now, as the horizon softens into gold, you understand. You do not need her to carry you. You are no longer only made of questions. You are made of all the answers you held without knowing. The myths were never meant to end in distant lands. They were meant to bring you home. To your breath, to your wonder, to your rhythm. The Valkyrie stops now. She turns to you with eyes that hold every sky you've dreamed of. Then she opens her wings, not to fly, but to mirror you, because the wings were never hers. They were yours, waiting to unfold in the quiet. And now, you do not to soar away, but to stretch wider, inside. You feel your chest expand, your spine rise, your gaze lift, not outward. Inward. To the space you made with all you've remembered. You breathe in, not just air, but presence. You are no longer riding the myth. You are carrying its echo. The story is not over. It is woven into your nervous system, into your memory, into your stillness. The Valkyrie smiles, and then, with no sound, no farewell, she steps into the light, not vanishing, becoming it, and you. You do not open your eyes, not yet. You let the warmth find your skin. You let the story settle. You let yourself remain, here, now. Enough. And in the silence that follows, you hear the softest truth. You are not the same. You are more yourself than you've ever been. You are part God, part stardust, part memory and dream and science and myth. And all of it is awake. And now, as our story gently fades, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this moment with me. Your presence here means the world, and your support helps me create even more peaceful journeys. Just for you. If this helped you rest, please consider liking, subscribing, or simply coming back tomorrow night. Until then, stay cozy, stay kind, and may your dreams tonight Be soft, serene, and full of wonder. Good night, my friend. With warmth, David.